What's going on, you guys? Frost here, and I'm back with another guide. This time we'll be talking about Tahm Kench jungle. The following subjects will be mentioned in this guide: champion description, abilities, leveling order, runes, masteries, the item build, and ending off with the jungle routes. If you want to go to a specific subject, you can click on it right now. Champion description. Tahm Kench is a really strong tank jungler. Right now there is probably no one better at tanking whilst being able to do an insane amount of damage. Also, Tahm Kench is one of the best ults to gank lanes with, so you can gank and counter gank insanely fast and efficient. And if you combine this with the absolutely insane clear speed Tahm Kench has, you have a very strong jungler. Another great thing about this champion is the insane amount of CC and utility he offers. The base damage Tahm Kench has is insanely high, and with his W being percentage maximum health, meaning you'll pretty much destroy anyone, even tanks. If you like a champion that can pretty much never die with a really high damage output, Tahm Kench is definitely the champion for you. Tahm Kench's abilities. His passive, an acquired taste. Tahm Kench's basic attacks and damaging abilities apply an acquired taste to the enemy champion, stacking up to 3 times. Against enemies with 3 stacks, Tahm Kench's Tongue Lash and Devour will gain additional effects. After 5 seconds when procced with a basic attack or 7 seconds when procced with Tongue Lash, this passive starts to decay once every 0.5 seconds. Stacking this passive is really easy, and because it lasts so long you can easily stun the same target multiple times. His first ability, Tongue Lash. After a brief delay, Tahm Kench lashes his tongue into the target direction, dealing magic damage to the first enemy hit and slowing them for 2 seconds. When this target has a fully stacked passive, this skill will also stun for 1.5 seconds. And you can use this ability to hit a minion or monster from long distance and then use your Devourer ability whilst the Tongue Lash is traveling to eat them from that distance. This skill has a really high base damage and the slow goes up to 70%. Plus it has a really low cooldown, meaning that you can use the skill a lot to get stuns off or just to slow targets down to catch up to them. His second ability, Devour and Regurgitate. At first you'll have access to Devour. Tahm Kench swallows the target enemy minion, monster or ally champion, making them untargetable and unable to take any action for a short duration. With your full passive on the enemy champion, you can swallow the target, suppressing them and limiting their vision. This will only last for half the time of a regular Devour. While Tahm has an ally in his belly, he gains movement speed, which is doubled when walking towards enemy champions. Tahm is slowed by 95% when he has an enemy in his belly. When Tahm has someone in his belly, he will be able to use Regurgitate. If the target is an enemy, Tahm will deal damage equal to a percentage of their max health. This is capped against monsters. Minions and monsters are spat forth, stopping if they hit a terrain or an enemy. And targets around the spat minion/monster will also take some damage. This skill is what gives Tahm his insane clear speed, and also what makes him such a godly damage dealer whilst going full tank, because at max rank this skill will deal a whopping 32% of the target's max health. However, you can't use the skill on Baron, Dragon or Red/Blue. His third ability, Thick Skin. Tahm Kench stores all damage he takes as grey health onto his health bar. While Thick Skin is not on cooldown, after taking no damage for 2.5 seconds, Tahm will rapidly heal for a portion of his grey health over time, consuming it in the process. When using this skill, Tahm Kench converts his current grey health into a shield which slowly decays over 6 seconds. This skill pretty much just gives you a second health bar, and with you going full tank, you'll pretty much never ever die. His fourth ability, Abyssal Voyage. Passively, this skill gives Tahm Kench's basic attacks and damaging abilities bonus magic damage. This damage increase skills with bonus health. Upon activating this ability, Tahm Kench channels for up to 15 seconds, highlighting the path to his destination to allies while opening his mouth, to offer up one ally champion the chance to come with. Once an ally has climbed in, or if Tahm Kench decides to go solo by reactivating Abyssal Voyage, he begins a 1-second channel, which upon completion blinks him and his ally to the target location, arriving after 0.5 second delay. Taking damage interrupts Abyssal Voyage, putting it on a 10-second reduced cooldown. Abyssal Voyage cannot be activated while his belly is full. This skill is the skill that will offer you the insane amount of damage when going full tank because of the passive. Besides the passive, the skill will make ganking really easy because you can just go into any lane in a few seconds. Leveling these abilities. On level 1 I start with W because this will give you the fastest initial camp clear. Then on level 2 I take my Q because you need the extra damage it offers since you can't use your W on the red or blue buff. Then on level 3 I take my E to give me a lot more health in the jungle to survive even better. As far as maxing goes, I'll max my Q first since this will be your main damaging ability as well as a bigger slow. Then I'll max my W second for the increase in damage and even more damage to monsters as well. And finally I'll max my E last because this skill doesn't give you any type of damage increase, and you don't really need a bigger shield it gives until the later game. And of course you will level your R whenever possible. The runes. I go for 9 attack speed marks, 9 scaling health seals, 3 scaling CDR and 6 scaling magic resist glyphs, ending off with 3 flat armor quints. This is a pretty strange looking rune page, but it's the most optimal way to play Tahm in the jungle, and I'll explain why right now. The 9 attack speed marks are to help you get stacks onto the enemy faster, and it will help you out a lot in your early jungle clear. 9 scaling health seals are there so you can get the 216 bonus health, and with your Cinderhawk this will become a pretty big amount of extra health that will translate into extra damage from your ultimate. I will take 3 scaling CDR glyphs because with the Masteries and the build you will get 40% cooldown reduction. And I take 6 scaling magic resist glyphs just to get some extra magic resist in. And finally I'll take 3 flat armor quints to allow me to survive the jungle in the early game and generally help me in tanking more damage. The Masteries. I go for 21-9-0 on Tahm, focusing on increasing my AD mainly for the early game so you can actually clear your first jungle rotation. This is also the reason I get some sustain in offense from Feast. And make sure you have your 5% CDR in offense to cap your CDR to 40%. Then in defense I go for the damage reduction from champions, health sustain and increased health. I don't go for the jungle mastery here because you will easily sustain your jungle with your E ability and you already have an insane clear speed from your W. The item build. There is really only one item build on Tahm that will actually bring out his full potential, and this is full tank. I'll explain the build in detail right now. First off, you want to start with a machete, 2 health potions and a warding trinket. After your initial clear you want to go back and buy the Stalker's upgrade to your jungle item. I get the Stalker's upgrade because Tahm is really slow and has trouble catching up to people, and Stalker's fixes that problem quite well. Notice how I don't get boots right after the first clear because Tahm has trouble clearing in his first couple of levels. So you are not able to do a full clear generally. So after your Stalker's upgrade you want to build the regular boots as soon as you can. And after that you want to finish your jungle item off with a Cinderhawk enchant. I get Cinderhawk because Tahm scales insanely well of bonus health, and Cinderhawk offers you a lot of that extra health. And this means a lot of extra damage for Tahm. Now after this you generally want to finish your boots into ninja tabbies for armor and damage reduction. And after that you want to build into a Spirit Visage. However, if you're against full AD, you want to just rush a Frozen Heart and swap Visage for Randuin's in the full build. The reason I go for ninja tabbies is because these boots offer you the most damage reduction. Don't ever go for mercs on Tahm because it's pointless. If they want to CC you, that's fine, because you are a full tank, meaning that CC is not on your carries and you will be able to take all the damage they throw at you without any problems. I go for Spirit Visage because it gives increased healing, which helps you with the sustain from your E and also gives you health and CDR. And those stats are stats that Tahm loves. Now, going on with the regular build, you want to build your Frozen Heart after Spirit Visage to cap your CDR to 40% and give you a lot of extra armor. And a really nice passive of course. After Frozen Heart I generally build into Warmogs to give me a massive amount of extra health and at the same time a solid increase in your damage output. After Warmogs you want to finish off your build with either a Thornmail or a Randuin's. You want to get a Thornmail if they really like to focus you down. If you notice that they are kinda ignoring you, however, you want to just get yourself a Randuin's. Thornmail is just a great item if they're focusing you down, because it will reflect a lot of the damage back to the enemy that is hitting you. Randuin's is just a great item if you're not the focus, because it gives more health, so more damage, and it still gives a decent amount of armor. And of course you have the nice active with Randuin's. This is the build finished. And you don't want to sell anything in this build, because everything is really needed. As far as trinkets go, I generally prefer to upgrade my warding trinket on Tahm. So upgrade your trinket on level 9. The jungle routes. You can see the jungle routes I take in the background right now. As this is playing, I'll talk to you about ganking, team fighting and how to clear your jungle effectively. Let's start with the last point first, clearing your jungle. The spell rotation you generally want to use is start with your W on the big monster in the camp, and on the red or blue camp you just want to use it on a small minion. After this you want to spit the target out instantly to get the cooldown in quickly. Then you want to start auto attacking and using your Q on the big target. Once you lose about 15% of your health, you want to use your E to make sure you won't lose any more health whilst doing the camp. And as soon as your Devourer comes back up you can finish off the camp unless that it's already really low. Generally you only want to use Devourer once per camp. Then onto ganking. Ganking with Tahm is pretty easy. The way you want to go about it without your ult is you just want to make sure you walk into the lane behind the target and start off with hitting your Q for the slow, then your auto twice and devour the target. Keep the target in your belly whilst walking towards your turret so you can put them back into the lane. Then you spit out the target in a certain direction without the minions around and instantly Q after them to guarantee the stun onto the target. With your ultimate, this is pretty much the same concept, but remember you can use your ult E in brushes to not get spotted in bottom or top lane. And finally, team fighting. All you have to do in team fights is just peel for your carries and make sure they survive. Devour targets that try to get onto them, or devour your teammate if he gets engaged upon. Thank you guys so much for watching this guide. If you've enjoyed it or learned anything from it, please remember to hit that like button and share it with your friends. If you want to see more guides like this or other videos from me, hit that subscribe button. And leave suggestions in the comments below on what champion I should do a guide on next. Again, thank you so much for watching and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!